Alright guys, what's up? In today's video we are going to be doing, sorry about that, we are going to be doing a simple HTML video. For you guys that don't know coding, this is going to be really helpful. I know when I first started learning to code it was very confusing. So I'm going to create just a simple playlist of HTML, CSS, and then JavaScript, and then after that we can move on to bigger libraries like jQuery and React and all those fun stuff. So for right now we're going to start out pretty simple. We're just going to go into our text editor, which I use Sublime, and we are going to, actually before we do that we want to create something. So first we're going to want to create a new folder, and we're going to call this first website. Sorry, mental fucking whatever, cannot talk, it's late at night. Anyway, we're going to go into our Sublime, we're going to command or open, we're going to go to my desktop, and we're going to go to first website, open. So the first thing we want to do is hit Command N, which creates a new file, and then we Command save, and then we're going to save it to first website. And this is really important. Since we are making an HTML file, we're going to call it index.html. You can call it anything you want, .html, but index.html always works. It's a good way to start. So we're just going to save that. And from our last video, if you saw how to install Emmit, it's going to make this a whole lot easier for you. So if you haven't installed it yet, we're just going to go to Command-Shift-P, install package control, and then you're going to go Emmit, and then Emmit should be right here, and then you're just going to click on Emmit and it will install for you. Now that we have that all that done, we are going to start writing some code. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to go HTML. So this is how the page is. It's called an HTML file, and we're going to hit :5. This is Emmit's way of creating an HTML file with its shortcut keys. So you're going to do that, HTML5, and you're going to hit Tab or Control-E. I'm going to hit Tab, and all of this comes up. So if you wanted to write this out longhand, you would write it out like this. You're going to create an opening and closing tag. Bang, forgot what those things are called. I call them bangs. Doc type, HTML. And then we start out the page with an HTML tag, like so. See how, HTML, language, English. And then right here we have our head tag. This head tag, nothing's going to display here. It's really just for more complex stuff. Pretty much, yeah, it's very simple. So before we do that, we're going to go here. Oh my god. Sorry, I usually use Terminal, but I'm not trying to confuse anyone. So we're going to go and we're going to open it with Google Chrome. And as you can see, we have nothing here, and the page at the top says Document. So in order to change that, we are going to go to this thing called Title. If we go back, we have Title. We can change it to anything we want. I'm going to change it to my first website. Boom, Command S to save, and then you're going to go to your browser and refresh with Command R or that. And as you can see now, at the top it says my first website. Pretty cool. Yep, so that's what the head is. If you want to, for more complex stuff, if you want to link, you can link style sheets. Right now we don't really need to do that, so we're not going to worry about that. So yeah, that is the head tag. The head tag is going to contain all the sub information like SEOs and styles. If you have external JavaScript files, that's where you would put them. So yeah, we're going to create a comment here really quick. And to comment, you just do, I forgot what these things are called. We're going to call the crocodile mouth. Crocodile mouth bang, which means exclamation point. That's what it's called. And then we're just going to call this head. Boom, and now we have a comment. So everything above that is our head. That's where we're going to put sub information, but like I said, for right now we don't need to worry about it. So inside of HTML there are a lot of things we could do. The most popular one is going to be a div. like that, and you hit tab, and then we get a div. But first I'm going to show you how to write it out longhand. So we need an opening tag, and then we need div, and then we need a closing tag. And then in between here is where our text would go. Right now we're not putting any text, so we're going to do an opening tag. And I cannot remember words right now. That thing. And then our closing div. And then right here we can just put whatever we want. And refresh and see we have information here. Below that we have, let's give this another little thing. You don't really use these a whole lot, but they're called breaks. Sometimes Emmet's annoying. Break. So right now you're not going to be able to see anything with that because there's nothing under it, but this break basically means line break. So everything under that will be displayed differently. It'll be displayed under whatever we put it under. So we're going to do next, we're going to put a P. I'm going to write this all longhand for you guys. Inside of our P, this is a paragraph tag. This is going to do the same exact thing as this div, except refresh. It does the exact same thing, same font size, everything. But as you can see, there's a line break there. If I were to comment that out, there's going to be a line break, but it's not as substantial. So I'm going to go uncomment that out. And yeah, that's a P tag. Under the P tag, we could do, sorry, and I'm using Emmit for a lot of this, so it might be a little bit weird for you guys if you don't have Emmit installed, but I do recommend you do it because it is the best thing to have. Under that, we can have a, let's see, we have div P. Those are really important. We have H1s. So we have an H1. What the hell? We have an H2, H3, H4, caps lock is on, H4, H5, and H6. So basically these are all heading tags. H1 is going to be, let's just call it foo. We're going to call all these foo actually. We're going to go foo, 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 foo. Oh my god. So weird because this isn't my main working computer, so I'm trying to get used to the shortcuts I don't have. And then foo. So we're going to save that. We're going to go over here, and as we can see, we have an H1 tag. The H1 is going to be the biggest. That's the most common one. We have an H2 tag, which is a little bit smaller. H3, H4, H5, H6. These are used for like headers, so I say I make, I'm going to call a break, I'm going to call a header. So a header is just a subclass. It's basically just a div, but it's easier to, section things out if you'd like. If I wanted to call a header H1, Mason, that's my name, command reset. Now, perfect. We have a header inside of Mason. And since we're in a header, we could style it, but since I'm not going to get into that right now, we're not going to worry about it. What else do we have? We have form. Action, we don't really need to worry about that right now. A form is basically the stuff you sign in with on websites. So we can have an input, and then this is important. Input is where something like this happens. So right here I can put anything in there. For computers it doesn't really matter, but for mobile the type does matter. So say I put type as tel, then when I open this up and on a phone it would only display numbers, and then if I put email it would only display like emails, or like it would display the words plus like the at and all that stuff. What else? There's a few different types. We have radio. Radio is basically just a radio button. You can check it if you'd like. I don't really use those a whole lot. I usually just use buttons or divs. But yep, we have an input type radio. What else do we have? We have URL. That's if you want to put in your own site. And yeah, we're going to keep that at text for right now. And then we have text area. Text area is pretty simple. I'm going to get rid of all that. We don't need it. What a text area is this. We can expand it to however large we want. Just put stuff in there. And then, yeah. Really quick with the input, there's a cool little thing you can do. If you've ever been on a website and you've seen words inside of the input field, but they go away right when you start typing, all that is a placeholder. So if we want to put placeholder, we could set this is a placeholder. We can refresh that, and now we have this is a placeholder. Really, really simple. Very nice to use for when you start getting into more complex coding. I don't really, sorry, how do I put this? I don't really know what else to do for this video because this is basic HTML. With CSS or without CSS, they kind of just look dumb. We can do whatever we want, and it would all be the same. Yep, it's very simple. This is just basic HTML. These are all the simple things you need to know. Since we have a little bit of time, let's just go through all of them. We have div, break, p. We have a section. I can't type. There we go. We have a section. Another way to subdivide your HTML page. This could just be a div if you'd want. Divs can do the same exact thing because either way you're going to have to size them. But yeah, we have a section. What else do we have? We have section P. I can't really think because all I use is like divs and yeah, that's pretty much all I can think about right now. Really quick, we could go into IDs and classes. That'll be more CSS, but I could show you what they are. So there's two ways of writing out an ID. We could do pound, which is an ID. That's how you classify IDs versus classes. So we could do an ID of this is ID. In C, since I didn't put anything before that pound sign, it's just going to be a div, right? But this is, by the way, this is an Emmit extension. You couldn't really do this unless you, if you couldn't do this if you didn't have Emmit. But say I want a header with the ID of heading. I would do that. So we have our header. We're classifying that. And then we're saying the header is going to have a heading. Really, really easy. Tab. And now we have a header with the ID of heading. Classes. Classes are important. I say I use classes a lot more than I use IDs, but IDs are still very important. We'll get more into that when we get into CSS, but classes are easy. The way to specify them is dot, and then this is class. Boom. And since we did a dot instead of a pound sign, we have a class. Really, really easy. Very simple. And then we do the same thing if we wanted a p element with the class name of paragraph. I'm not going to worry about that. Enter. Perfect. We have a p class with paragraph. The other thing we could do is if we wanted to have a p tag, but inside of our paragraph we wanted to have a div that's a timer. Do that. What the hell? Oh, maybe that must just be a p thing. Oh, span. That's perfect. Anyway, so we have span. Spans, they're not super important, but say I wanted to, I'm going to go down. So we have our header. So this is where maybe the top of our page would be. We have a header, and we have an H1, which is our title, and then we're going to have my, and then say we want to have our next word inside of that be a different color. We would go span, actually we'll go like this, we'll go span color. So now we're adding an ID to that, and then basically my site. Perfect. So now if we wanted to go into CSS, we would go my, and then we would attack the ID of color, and we could change the color or anything we wanted to that word. It's really, really simple. Spans are very nice. We could we could, back to what I was talking about, we could go to div. So say we wanted to have a div, right? Imagine the div was our header. So we're going to go dot header. Perfect. So now we have a div with the class of header, so that would go across the top. But say we want a section inside of the header that is just a timer again. So we would go pound timer. And now we have another div that has a timer. But say we wanted inside of our timer, we wanted a display field. We would go pound disp, whatever you want to call it. And now we have another display. So we could, under header, we could have h1 hello world. In our timer, we would go p, and we would just go 500, whatever, 50000. So yeah, and then in display, we would do another p. The time is above. Perfect. So now we can go back here, and we just have a bunch of stuff. But yeah, that's a basic HTML page. Really simple, really easy to learn. If you guys want, take all of the information you learned from here and try and create a very simple website. So we could do something like HTML:5. That's the command to get everything ready. We would go to website, and then we could do whatever we want in here. One thing I did forget to tell you guys about, I'm sure there's a lot, but there's not a whole lot of time here. We have an image tag. This is how you implement images. You could either do an image where you just put a link. So we go to Google. We go to Google Images, cats, car, whatever car. Go back. All right, we go right here. Copy image address, and then inside of our source, we just paste it. And then we could go to my first web page and refresh, and now we have a image of a car. And obviously you could style it however you like, but that's the basic principle of HTML. I'd say is really fun to learn. It's not like coding. Don't think that you can, you're a coder if you do HTML. It's just a markup language. But it's a great place to start if you want to get into web development or you want to make apps or pretty much anything. It's a great way to learn code. Yep, other than that, do what you want with this information. In the next video, we're going to go over CSS and how to style your HTML page with CSS. So, yep, like, comment, and subscribe. Remember to follow the Instagram dabbing.developer. If you have any questions, leave them in the comments. I'm probably repeating myself. It's super late. But yeah, anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed, and watch the next video to learn how to use CSS. Bye-bye.